Young girls, don't cry. You're not alone in the fight. The broken, the unspoken, we can't heal if the wound is open. If it's like no kids, your heart is bleeding. Why is it knowing you are ill? When the lonely pain in life I kept a secret. Yeah, for their own benefit. Be strong, be brave. You're too far away from the grave. Stand tall. We are here. We don't know the spirit of fear. We will overcome. Yes, we will overcome. We will overcome. Yes, we will. We will overcome. Yes, we will overcome. Yes, we will. Liberia, when will we stop being the inferior? Our vulnerable children, strength of their innocence. It feels like no one hears to see your heart is bleeding. The cry is ignored when you are ill. When the lonely pain and lies are kept a secret. To gain for their own benefit. Be strong, be brave. You're too far away from the grave. Stand tall. We are here. We don't know the spirit of fear. We will overcome. Yes, we will overcome. We will overcome.
We will.
Yes, we will.
Yes, we will overcome. Yes, we will. Liberia, we can get back tonight.
Young girl,
Ouch.
don't cry. You're not alone in the fight.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women. Welcome to Tony Commander Galpohkpa Chesson Talk Show. We wake up this 20th day of October to news that the United States Congress has taken measures to renew our confidence in the instrumentalities of our illegal system. The January 6th committee has taken a stern decision to hold Steve Bannon in criminal contempt for refusing to comply with the committee's request for documents for his appearance through a subpoena. Now, as I stated earlier in one of my shows, our subpoena system has begun to lose its significance by the behaviors of our officials, by behavior of our former president, who refused to obey the subpoenas that have been issued against him in the past. Now, members of his former regime are still refusing to submit to the subpoena from the January 6th committee. This is intolerable. It is intolerable because subpoenas are a serious legal instrument. All my years practicing law, I've always known that we hold subpoenas from the courts with high respect. We honor them. We don't play with subpoenas, but honor our past administration, the rule of law, the processes of our legal systems were disparaged, stepped on. And when people step on subpoenas, when the court subpoena you, or when a legal body with the authority to subpoena you, and you say you're not coming, or you claim some authority for your refusal that does not exist, what the Congress just did is what usually happens. You get held in contempt. You get held in contempt. And this has gone on too long. Now that the January 6th committee has voted to hold Steve Bannon in contempt, it has to go to the full congressional body to vote on it. And I hope they vote on it. I seriously hope they vote on it. Because this matter has to be sent to the Justice Department to file legal matters against Steve Bannon. People cannot play with our subpoena system, with our subpoena processes. These are legal processes that have been held high and respected from time immemorial. To see people stepping on our legal processes is troubling for people who respect the law and obey the law and practice the law especially. It's troubling. So this is a great relief to me to see the January 6th committee take an action yesterday to ensure that Steve Bannon is brought up on contempt charges and punished. This must be an example to all the other people that have been subpoenaed and are still sitting on the fence. They must learn and know that tampering with the law and the processes of our legal system is punishable. It's punishable, and nobody is above the law. Okay? Secondly, we come to find out that the Louisiana police are now being alleged to have murdered The last guy they killed, Ronald, was that Ronald Dennis? I can't remember his last name. But the Louisiana police were accused of killing a black man. I think that was Ronald. I can't remember Ronald's last name. I had it on my mind just now. I think it's Dennis or something. But this is a guy in Louisiana that the police roughed up. He died because of them arresting him and roughing him up. Now, a black whistleblower from the police department has come out and accused the Louisiana State Police Department of racism, stating that they killed this black man because of their actions. Now, they're going after him. But this is it. I think Officer Cavalier, I hope I got his name correct, but go to CNN, you get the right name. I was in and out of my coffee break. I heard it, I caught it quick. But before I turned around, the program has gone by. I remember everything about it. So this is what's going on today. Okay? We also have the situation in Haiti, where the gangs have kidnapped Americans, adding on to Haiti's mess. I mean, the people are already suffering in that country. We're going through the killing of the president, earthquake, now kidnapping again. Give the people of Haiti a break, please. The people need to survive, man. All this chaos and crime and all of this can't go on. Then we come to our Liberian situation with George Weah honoring Emmanuel Tulu, the young guy who found the $50,000. Come to find out, our president now rushed to judgment again, just like he did with the auditors. When the auditors died, he came out and said they were lovers. Without any investigation, anything being done. It's the same thing he has done with this young little boy. The boy found $50,000, returned it to the people. The people rewarded him. Now George Weah them have taken this boy business and put it on their heads. He bring the boy, honor the boy, finally giving the boy $500 job. Get about $500 job. Come to find out there are many other people involved in this situation. He honored the boy alone. What about the mother, the old one that the boy said he gave the money to keep? That she kept it with us, touching the 1 cent and giving it back to him. Now other people coming up and saying that they were involved in this thing too. And this is what happens when people try to take philanthropic efforts and turn it into politics, political benefits for them, personal benefits. Because what all this award and all the thing for? Then a year he gave the boy $500 job. Why? The boy is a 7th grader. What the boy would do a $500 job? People in the government right now been working for years, can't get $500 job. People got more experience on the job than this kid. Can't get that kind of money. You get this kid $500 job for what? But this is just to demonstrate the ignorance of our government, the insignificance of our leadership. Because they're quick to act. They see everything that's good as part of their interests to benefit their regime. It doesn't work like that all the time. You see, it doesn't work like that all the time. And Weah can't be getting himself involved in all these things. You know? Our people just rush to judgment with everything. And we can't be doing that. We are a government. You can't just rush to do everything. Yes, the boy found $50,000. Wait a few weeks before you honor him. Let everything settle down. Let's see where this thing going. Let's see who are involved in it. Huh? You mean the boy won $50,000? We couldn't wait for 1 month to honor the boy. He couldn't wait on that even before Christmas to honor the boy for Christmas. Why you got to jump in and honor the boy right away? And this is the rush to judgment that George Weah does that brings shame and disgrace to his leadership. You can't do these kind of things. You are the government. Because people honor somebody, you don't have to jump in the fray. Sit down and watch. Because everything in Liberia got tails to it. When you see something happen, wait and see, because there may be an attachment to that. And here it is right now. He go honor the boy, do all of this. Now other children coming up saying that they were with him too. All of them for the money. The woman who kept the money, they didn't honor her. She was honest too. The boy left with money with her. She didn't touch it. She knew about our money. She didn't touch it. She gave the boy the money back. Intact. And the boy took the money. They didn't honor the old woman, but they honored the young boy. You see, and then you go get the boy with government money, $500. Get the boy a job and all the kind of what? Because he found that $500. At least if you are giving him a scholarship, so he could stop driving paper and go to school full time and pay his books and all of that for him to go to school. Yes, but you go get a boy government job, so that means the boy will stop his education now to go work for government. Well, our leaders do not understand the significance when they try to use every opportunity that come up as a political beneficial opportunity. It makes them look shame. It makes them look shame. Make them look hustlers. The real hustlers they are. That's why these people leading our country, they are hustlers. They hustle our money, they hustle our system, they hustle our children, they hustle everything. Opportunity, they hustle it. Now look at it, hustling. He hustled to talk during the death of Gifty them without any investigation. Come to find out the people were killed. He talked about girlfriend, boyfriend thing. Now he come with the same thing, come honoring this boy, giving him all these accolades, and the boy wasn't alone in this whole process. He's a little kid. He needs to go to school. You need to encourage him to leave the pen driving and pay attention to his school. Give him a scholarship. 19-year-old kid. He needs to go to college. He needs to graduate from high school. He doesn't need a job. Paying $500. When our leaders are dumb, when our leaders are ignorant, it is shown through their leadership. It is demonstrated through the way they handle our resources. We're all waste. You go pay a little boy $500. That's waste right there. What are this 19-year-old boy know to do for $500? Men in their 60s not even getting $500 a month. You give a 19-year-old boy $500 because he found $50,000 and turn it in. That's not the way you reward people. Yeah. That's not the way you reward people. We always don't have money. Somebody was saying, well, we are getting $500 from the pay that boy. Where we getting $500 from? That's a very genuine question. We're supposed to be taking care of our government, man. We're not in the old days no more, man. We're moving into a new era. We're supposed to show responsibility. We're supposed to show duties to our people. And we're still not doing this thing. Everything our leadership is doing is waste. Waste, waste, waste. The stealing is waste. They're giving their girlfriends, everything is waste. They're giving their families, everything is waste. They're disparaging our people from what they deserve. It's waste. How long will we be on this trend? Waste, 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 stealing, stealing, waste, waste. It's waste. We're wasting our resources. And this is what happens when we have an ignorant leadership in our government. When we have an ignorant leadership over us, everything they do involves ignorance and needs analyzing and needs monitoring. These guys are literally cheering. They just get jump up and do things. They just jump up and do things. Oh, yeah, and just do it. We're all realizing or considering the ramifications of their actions, the different branches, the impacts, how it will impact their decision making. They just jump up and make decisions. They don't sit down to contemplate what will happen if they decide to do this. What would be the ramifications? How will they impact other things, other branches? How will they veer out and impact the community, the government, the society, the people? Those are things we do before we make decisions. When we sit down to make decisions, that's why making decisions is hard. Any person that just can sit down when you tell them, they just, oh, do this, do this. Sometimes it's good to make quick decisions. Sometimes it's good to have a leader that can handle decisions under stress, that can make decisions under stress. But most of the times, it's good to have many heads to the table. It's good to consult other people. Even if the heads can't be at the table, pick up the phone, consult other people. Oh man, we're about to do it. What do you think we should do? Yeah, you don't know it all. Nobody knows it all. Even me, the slightest decision I'm about to make, I want input to know that I'm on the right path. Even if I know I'm on the right path. Just another input. Just one or two other persons to say, yeah, Chesson, you're right. Or give me a contrary view that will make me consider what I'm doing. Because anyway, time you consider what you're doing, you're looking at every aspect of the pros and the cons to what you want to do, to the decision you want to make. And when you're leading a nation, you've got to be mindful of the pros and the cons, because in any damn decision you make, there will be pros and cons. Whether it's good for the people or not, there will be pros and cons. What makes it a great decision is when the pros outweigh the cons. Then you have made a good decision because everything is weighed. How many people love your decision? How many people uphold your decision? So when you weigh your decision, the positive must always outweigh the negative. Then you have made progress in your decision making. And these are the things our people got to learn. Our leaders got to get accustomed to. You got to be accountable for everything you do. You got to be responsible for everything you do. If you jump up and make rash decisions, you must pay the consequences for your decision. You must face the insults, the curses. You must face the criticism, like a man or woman, because everybody will not be civil in their approaches to your failures, even successes. Okay? So let me start my topic for today so we can get into my lesson. My brothers in Haiti, y'all please free the American people. Y'all got enough problem in Haiti there. Let them people go, brother. Okay? Today's topics: 1. Liberia Societal for Peace 6 Standards. 2. All Liberian parties. Henry Costa threatens to sue Alternative National Congress political party. 3. Liberia in retrospect. 1. Liberia's Societal for Peace 6 Standards. For so long, since the founding of Liberia, one of the primary standards that our fathers and forefathers used to ensure some kind of peace and stability among the 16 tribes and the settler group was the For Peace 6 Standard. What is the For Peace 6 Standard? Whenever we do wrong, we'll compromise it for peace. Okay? So when you compromising everything for peace, we in Liberia say for peace sake. So we're doing it for the sake of peace. So we say for peace sake. From 1847, from 1822 to this very day, we still on this for peace sake standard and philosophy. It has to and must cease and desist. It has to and must stop. It has to and must be obsolete. We cannot continue to do things in our society because of a peace sake. We have evolved after 170 plus years. We have evolved as a people, as a community, as a society, as a nation. We have evolved, and we cannot continue to resort to our past standards that yield us no positive futures. We can't. The For Peace 6 Standard has outgrown its usefulness in our society. The For Peace 6 Standard is detrimental to the Liberian people today. It's detrimental. Those standards that we inherently see as For Peace 6 Standard, first between our leaders and citizens, people stealing from our government, people doing mischievous things in our government to other people, government officials' behavior in our society, illicit behavior, all those things we have all put it on for peace sake. Oh, for peace sake, let's forget it. For peace sake, no. We can't let it go no more. Look at what these actions have brought upon us. Our children, the rip has gone through the ceiling. People have no law and order. Women have no respect, no pride and dignity. No matter who you are, people can just talk to you any kind of way, try to rape you, try to do things to you. The stealing is out of the roof. Out of the roof. The ignorance, betrayal, deception, lies, they continue to haunt our society and our people. How long? How long? And every time we do these things, People come back with it for peace sake. Oh man, let's forget it for peace sake, man. Oh, please forgive them, man. They will not do it again. No, 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 no. Look what for peace sake has gotten us. No way. We neglect and substitute our laws and punishment of our officials for peace sake. That's what we do all the time. We trade in our country, our sovereignty, our love for peace sake, for the criminals in our country. Why? Why? Why might our cousins and our relatives be damn rogues and criminals, and we be the one to forgive them all the time for peace sake? Why? We can't do that. We can't continue to do that. If we continue to do that, our country will lose the essence that it needs to breed real men in our society, real women in our society. Right now, we don't know who we got in our society. We don't know whether we got men or women. We got a bunch of liars, deceitful people, treacherous rogues, ritualistic killers. We got everything but real men and women. And that's why our leadership is so flawed and flawed and weak. Because we got continue on this for peace sake standard. Oh, leave it be, man. Next time, man. No. And Costa is right. We gotta sue people. We gotta go to court. We gotta seek to punish our leaders. We gotta go after their money. We gotta go after their houses. We gotta go after them, everything they own. No more for peace sake. If the government don't want to go, let's form a class action suit and sue these people for the government. Our government is weak. We have a standing in our government. We are Liberian citizens. When our government refuses to act or fails to act, we can go and have class action lawsuits. We have standing in everything the Liberian government does. We have standing. We have an interest. And it is too sad that our leaders don't see things that the way we see it. They don't see that we have an interest in our country. They don't see that our laws are made for us, not them. They don't see that our entire governmental system is there because we agree to it. If not, they will not be there. And it has come to the point that we ourselves must understand as Liberian citizens, we have duties and responsibilities imposed upon us by our constitution to act against our leaders. We have duties. And that's why when coup happens, we blame those who sit silent and don't talk. When there's a coup and people die and are killed, we blame ourselves. We don't blame other people. Because if we don't talk, something got to be done to change the disparaging, disgusting, nasty, and useless situation we live in. Something got to change it. So if we don't talk, something got to be done. And when a coup happens, we can't cry. We all to blame. It's just like America now with Donald Trump and all these things. We are to blame. Because America made Donald Trump who he is. Now Donald Trump is too big for America. He's big for America. He wants to take over America now for himself. He has outgrown America. And that cannot happen. That does not happen in democracy. People don't outgrow our system. No. When you outgrow our system, you are not a patriot. Just like Christianity. Nobody outgrows Jesus Christ. You can't. You can't. The responsibility and the weight too much. You can't. Same thing with our governmental system. In a democracy, when one man tried to take it over and run it amok like Donald Trump, try to commit crimes against our legal system like Donald Trump, trying to rob and disparage our system like Donald Trump, try to destroy America and what we stand for like Donald Trump. It can't work. It can't work. Because our system is more than just a handful of people. Our system is more than a handful of racists or a handful of hitters or a handful of ignoramuses. Our system is more than that. And that's why it's a necessity that we punish Donald Trump. It's the necessity that we punish all his enablers to let him know what they did on January 6th. There's no for peace sake in America. There's no for peace sake in this country. When you screw up, you take responsibility for your actions. You take responsibility for your behavior, and you get punished for your shit. This is America. This is how it works. This is our democracy. This is how it works. And if Liberia wants to go upon this same trend of constitutional democracy, we have to understand you take responsibility for your shit. When you screw up, nobody's going to stand up and take your responsibility. When you are lackadaisical in the performance of your duties, nobody coming to stand up and take your responsibility for you. You better be a man and woman to know that if you want a job, you better live up to the duties and responsibilities that come with a damn job. Because when you fail, nobody coming to do your job for you. Nobody coming to pity you and look for excuses for you. We're coming to kick you in the ass for taking our job, telling us you can do it, and knowing you don't have the competence to perform. And more, especially if you lie to us, give us false documents. But anyway, that aspect is the civil department, civil what you call it, the employment agency party, whoever employs for the government, because that's their job to do the research on you to find out whether you qualify or not. And if you're not qualified and they give you a job, they gotta explain to the Liberian people why you take this man and give him a job and he's not qualified. And there are millions of Liberians who have the same propensity to be what he is today. So why aren't they there? And this low class, useless man is there. No more for peace sake. No more for peace sake. We gotta punish people. When our leaders tamper with our documents, when our leaders do things that bring disgrace, that bring impunity, and not impunity, that brings failure to us and the people they represent, they got to let us know why they fail us, why they brought us this shame and disgrace. Because every time they can have it in Liberia one big position, Every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the political realm won't be big shot. Nothing wrong with that. Be big shot. You can't handle your job. You're not qualified to be the big shot you want to be. You got to tell us why. And you got to replenish the waste. We got too much waste. Liberian people come and take government position, they screw up and leave. No. There are certain jobs people take, they got to sign bond. Certain jobs you take, you got to sign bond. Which means that if you fail, we come after your property. If you mess up, we come after you personally. Perhaps we need to start looking at certain positions that people need to sign bond for. Because the stealing is just out of control. And we got to reel it in. We got to reel in the indiscipline, the lawlessness. We got to set standards under the rule of law. So people know that you got responsibilities. And when you slip, we're not slipping. We're putting you in jail. When you slip, we're not slipping. We're holding you accountable. When you slip and act irresponsible, we'll jail you. Period. We'll jail you and hold you accountable for the waste. The waste in our country must cease and desist. Besides the stealing, the waste is intolerable. Stealing is one thing, which is out of control in Liberia. It's rampant, it's exponential. It's out of control. That's one thing. And the second thing is waste. Waste is right next to stealing in Liberia. Our people stealing our money and they're wasting our resources because they're not applying it where it deserves to be applied. And all these things impact the lives of our people. It impacts the development of our country. It impacts the future of our children. It impacts everything in our country. It behooves us to have leaders that will guide us directly in maintaining our resources. Maintaining our resources. We can't only stop the stealing. We gotta ensure that our resources are maintained and fully used to their full capacities or propensities. And our leaders gotta be men and women who understand that job demands responsibility, accountability, and seriousness. Okay? So this is the first part of my lesson. We must end the culture of appeasing. We must end the culture of criminal corruption. We must end the culture of appeasing. Let it be. Leave it alone. We must end it. We must end it. Those of us who do podcasts and calling for change in our country must know that change does not come easy. Change does not come without sacrifice, which is discipline. Discipline in everything we do, in our spending, in our lives, in our behaviors, in everything we do. Discipline is a prime force or element for change. Let me break, then I'll start my second topic soon. Okay. I'm trying to bring the file in. I have one right now, so we can see it go on. Let me see if I can do it this way. Oh Lord, I just hope. I just hope I got it on the right way. Ladies and gentlemen, please bear with me. I just want to see how to bring this in on the share way. Let me share this file. Hmm. My second topic is about Costa suing his organization. And I just want to bring the video up that I did today. It's already up. I just got to find out how to bring it up. 2010, 21. Yes, here it is. It's coming up. Okay.
Then we all can chime in on this. Okay. So, uh, pretty much it was just October 14th, 2021. So that was what so there were 4 days ago, I think, I believe. Yeah, 3 or 4 days ago. On behalf and then addressed to Senator Youngbley Conga Lawrence, directly to Senator Youngbley Conga Lawrence, chair, collaborating political parties. Monroe.
Now, the lawyers for the collaborating parties of Liberia, CPP, wrote the chairman, the past chairman, Senator Nyombi Kanga Lawrence, responding to the request that the lawyers look into certain allegations that were brought up by one of the parties, the coalition's members, in the name of Mr. Benani Yuri of the All Liberian Party, that is part of the that is one of the fourth political parties that is part of this collaborating party organization. Yuri complained that they were tampering with the framework document. These people got together and turned the everything over to the lawyer to review to find out whether or not there was in fact tampering with the document. The lawyer responded on October 14th and sent a letter to Nyombi Kanga Lawrence, who's the chair, senator. And this is the letter being read by Lofa Julius on his show. I couldn't come across a copy of the letter, but Julius read it. So I want us to listen to him reading the letter. It was written on the 14th of October, which was 6 days ago, and it's addressed to Senator Kanga. It's from the lawyers of the CPP who were charged to review the framework document of their organization and tell them whether there was fraud, tampering, modification, or not. So here is the result of the letter. When we listen to it, then we'll go into it and debate it in more detail.
Liberia. Madam Chair, on behalf of the team of lawyers, we hereby acknowledge receipt of your letter dated October 12, 2021, requesting our legal advice on the following. The procedure that was followed in incorporating the proposed amendment in the FD, which is the framework document, I believe, and submitting same to the neck. The effect of abstracting the signature page, okay? The effect of extracting the signature page from the original FD signed on May 19th, 2020 by the four political leaders and attaching same to the final document without their approval expressed or implied and submitting same to the neck. Whether the proposed amendment made by the lawyer was changed without their consent, and any other issues of legal significance that needs to be addressed by the neck and the C. While noting your request, we would like to state the following, and this is what they stated. We were invited by the collaborating political parties as a team of lawyers and requested to review the framework document. So that in itself, that's Galpohkpa and Dwalu. I think you're back. Let me just bring you back on here. So this is one thing that I think we all need to take into consideration. Why I don't need to explain this to you, but for the sake of our listeners and our followers, I think it's only fair. We were invited by the collaborating political party, CPP, as a team of lawyers and requested to review the framework document as concluded by the four political parties. And they were listed ALP, ANC, Liberty Party, and that of the Unity Party. We were informed that the framework document reflected the will of the parties to form a collaborations, but wanted to enter that the framework document complies with full legal prescriptions, both in terms of substance and structure. Upon review of the said document, we made a number of revisions. Did you hear that? So they were invited to do the job. That was to review the document, give their input, and it says right here. I read that part again. Made number of revisions, both in substance and structure. Madam, during the argument, it was stated that structural and content changes were made. Madam, you Kanga said that in her address, her press conference. She said structural and content changes were made. The lawyers are saying here that when we were invited, we made some of these changes that you alluded to. Structural and content changes. Anybody who can read, understand better than me could actually speak to that after here. And then it goes further to say, okay, we made a number of revisions both in substance and structural framework document as revised was presented as a meeting convened for that proposed and attended by the leadership of the four political parties. All right, so they all knew of it, they attended it, and it was presented to them. Upon summation to the leadership of the parties and to the date, we have had no interaction with the said document. So since then, nothing else has been done with it. Madam Chair, we as voluntarily agreed to support a process as part of our patriotic commitment to our country. We did so knowing that our contribution will assist in reconciling engendering an environment for better collaborations and coordination. Folks, I don't know if we have to read any more than what is stated here. I think something was said here. somebody got vindicated.
Look, Julius.
But just read the letter completely and get
Okay.
done with it. Then you can discuss it.
Okay, and then I'll read the rest of it. I mean, the last paragraph here says, we note with concern, however, that the issues raised in your letter of October 12, 2021, and upon which we are requested to opine have become the subjects of intense internet and external discussion over the past several weeks. This has rendered the process overwhelmingly political, thereby marginalizing the efficiency and the ethics of the framework. All right, and then let me go to
Okay, I couldn't find a copy of the letter. I tried to look on the internet. I couldn't get a copy of the letter, so I used this uh, presentation by Luther Julius on his show across Africa, reading the letter. And in that letter, it stated that the leaders of the CPP wrote their lawyers and asked them to review the framework document on two fronts. One, procedural, that the procedure for implementing the framework document was violated. That means that what is the procedure? If you want to change something in the document, say you want to make an amendment, you want to modify, you want to change something, there's a procedure you have to use to do that. They didn't follow that procedure. What is that procedure? It's in the laws. What steps have to be taken before they can amend anything in the framework document? They have to call a meeting, set up constitutional committee, review, all those kind of things. Those are procedures. All the members got to sit down, look at everything, sign it, everything. Those are procedures. Okay? They said they mess with the contextual framework of the document. That is the whole structure of the document. What the document really say. Okay? They took some things out of it. They added some things to it that changed the whole ideal, the whole premise, the whole purpose for which the framework document brought this group together. We know that, I told you before, the constitution of any organization is what gives it life. That's why the constitution of any organization is very important, because it gives that organization life. It tells us the name of that organization, the purpose of that organization, who the officers of that organization can be, what the framework or structure of the organization is all about. The administrative structure, who the boss, who the deputy, who the secretary, everything. The Constitution breaks that down and gives us all the permanent aspects of the governance of an organization. So, just like the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia, the framework document for the CPP gives it life. Tell us that the CPP is called the CPP, that the CPP got so and so members, that the CPP was founded for this purpose, that the CPP officials are elected based on this process, that this is the consensual work of the CPP, how we function, how we elect officers, how we do our day-to-day operation. The Constitution provides all of that. That's why it gives every organization, every nation, life, because it tells us what that organization is, how it functions, who its leaders are, and what is the purpose, the end game of the purpose of the contract of the organization. So, same thing with the framework document. They wanted the lawyers to look in the document to see if anything was taken out or anything was added. Because the allegation was that after the lawyers met during the last session and the documents were turned over to Elliot Cummings and the ANC to file and notarize and get back to the people to divide among them and file, he didn't do that. Somewhere between the last revision and the filing of the document is a gap. They want that gap to be reviewed. And that's what the lawyers were empowered to do. These people signed their document on May 19, 2020, last year. And that was the final document and the final time the lawyer saw the document. When they did the final revision and all of them signed it, and they left. Okay? So from that time, things have changed. What's changed? They wanted lawyers to review it. Now, according to Julius Lofa's letter he just read from the lawyers, nobody was vindicated in this letter. Nobody was vindicated. The lawyers didn't say yes, somebody did something wrong. The lawyers didn't say no, somebody didn't do something wrong. The lawyers had no say in this letter at all. The lawyer said, we ain't got nothing else to say about this letter because the implications of this letter are beyond legal. It rests on politics now. And we can't deal with this letter. Why? Because according to the lawyer's letter, the last time we sat down to resolve and look over this matter was the time all four of the political leaders and all the lawyers met to do a final revision. They sat, they reviewed everything, and they signed everything. The lawyer approved everything and was ready to be filed. The lawyer gave it their blessings and their approval, and they turned everything over to Elliot Cummings to file. The lawyers want to know why you're calling us back into this mess. That's what the lawyers want to know. Indirectly, that's what the lawyers see. We did everything. We finalized everything. That document that we finalized supposed to be filed with the NEC. So why you're calling us back to review something that we have already reviewed, we have already approved, we have already sanctioned? Why are you rustic, plastic old men from four political parties who supposed to know better calling us back to review something we have already reviewed? Are you people dumb? Are you stupid? Have you lost your mind? Or are you just pure immature? That was the lawyer saying. That's what the lawyer saying. Because for four political parties to act like immature bitches, excuse my expression. But when people act, when you expect educated people to behave a certain way, and they behave a totally different way, with no apparent reason at all, We either got to question their sanity, their maturity, or their abilities to perform. So you're telling me now, where are we with this debacle? Because the lawyer said it. The lawyer saying you're too old to be fighting. The lawyer said there are national ramifications because of your actions. You men cannot act immature. Normally, you gotta control your men. They're out of control. They're immature. We have settled this. We sat down and resolved everything that we needed to resolve, and we signed everything. Why are you people calling us back here to review your political mess? Because we did the legal mess. The legal part is finished. As far as we're concerned, we have satisfied the legal part. This other bullshit you're coming up with is political. It's beyond our realm. And we cannot delve into it. So you take your case, you go back to the last day that we sat with you. And that is the document you're supposed to use. I agree with him. There's no ambiguity. There's no ambiguity. There's no confusion. There's no incomplete sentence or anything here. The idea is complete. We did the job. We finalized everything. The legal part is done. All this other part you're doing is political. It's bullshit. It's not legal. And we cannot delve nor advise you on this stupidity. Go back to the last day we sat down with you, where all of us reviewed this document together, and we finalized it and you signed it. That is the document that we're supposed to use. Every other thing is foolishness. And we cannot advise you on politics. That's what the lawyer is saying. It's clear, succinct, to the point. There's no other thing you can say about it. They're not siding with nobody. They're not bullshitting nobody. They're not delaying, statement. They are not the lawyers for the Liberian people. They are the lawyers for the CPP. Their obligation is to the CPP, not to the Liberian people. You can cry all you want, fight all over yourself, that's your business. They're not obligated to you. And they did their duty. They told Nomdi Kanga, you're acting immature. You're acting like a children. And you need to grow up. And we will not look into this document. We will not analyze it. We're not looking into it. We're not going to do nothing to it. We'll send it right back to you because it's immature. It's beyond our legal competence. This is politics. And we cannot deal with politics. We are lawyers. You'll go back, look at the last day we sat together, and you'll sign the document while we were there. You'll sign it in our presence, and we attach everything and give it to you. That's the document we agree with. But we are not going to waste our time looking through any damn document if you young people don't want to follow law but want to play politics. So Henry Costa can sue. He can sue. He's not the ALP. He's not the All Liberian Party. He's a member. He said they're going to sue, but we can't rely on what he says. He's just a member. We got to rely on what the leadership says. So Costa is threatening a lawsuit, which is his right. And as a member of the CPP, he ain't got to go through the ALP. He has standing. Or let the court determine whether he has standing. All he has to do is get a lot of people from the party together that feel the same way like he feels, and they can file a class action suit against the CPP and the ANC. File a suit against both of them. Why? because the ANC is a part of the CPP. And if ANC is acting like asses, the CPP acting like asses too. So the joint and joint and servable. Y'all excuse my words. I haven't been playing with these legal words for so long. They're jointly and severally liable. Okay, so he can sue them either individually or together. He can either sue the ANC, the CPP, or the ANC and the CPP together, jointly. Okay. Once you are members of the organization, once you have interest in what the organization leadership is doing, once you disapprove of it, and you have other people with like feelings and like interests and like desires, you can get together and have a class action suit against the organization for failing to fulfill its constitutional mandate, which is leadership, good leadership. So it all boils down to that. And I support Costa in your interest. We got to set the standards. Liberian people got to be held accountable for their actions. Our leaders do shit. They got to answer for it. No more for peace sake. We got to stand on the foundation of our constitutional rights, privileges, entitlements, emoluments, etc. Okay? That's my second lesson. I passed 1 hour. Let me pick the break. I'll go to my third lesson. Liberia in retrospect. I will not take too long on this one. Looking back at our past, we have always had this problem for peace sake. We have always had this problem with our leaders' behaviors that have gone against our laws, human decency. And they have always relied on nepotism, family ties, government association, and for peace sake, to get out of their troubles, which they continue. Because when you never set precedents for crime, it never ends. Because there's no example of people being punished. So in retrospect, our leaders have gotten away scotch-free with their criminal behaviors for too long. And it's time that we reel some of these people in. Because look at our history, man. 170 years of bullshit. Leaders never been punished. The only leader we rather punished was King for Fernando Po. And the only reason we punished King was because the world was involved in it. It was a world cry against slavery, his behavior. But look at our leaders today. They're doing the same damn thing. They're not being punished. So somewhere in our history, we must find it hard to be real men, to grow up and know that when we set standards, we don't sell it for peace sake business. If it's for peace sake, the laws in there are there to generate peace. Not for us to ignore the law and say for peace sake we ignore the law. No, because when we put things in our law, we put it there for peace sake. And if we don't implement what we put in our laws, there can be no peace sake. And we use the word for peace sake to elude punishment, there can be no peace sake. And that's what I'm saying. We've been playing with our laws for too long. People got to be punished. We didn't put no punishment in our laws for peace sake. No. No, not for the kind of peace sake y'all want. We put it there for societal peace sake, not for individuals' peace sake. So when we flog you, there can be no stealing in the society again. And nobody will be mad and there'll be no fighting. But not because of you. What kind of for peace sake you got for us? You got nothing for us. So we got to look at our past and see where the flaws for our future lay. It's in the past. It has come to the future because we have no precedence of punishing our leaders for their wrongdoings. And if we don't do it today, people in the future will be looking back in retrospect at us and see Chesson them talking and didn't do it. They said talk. That's why I'm documenting all these things. So the children in the future can know that we talk. That they had people here that were talking and saying it was wrong. And other people didn't listen. But the time of the Liberian people is now. The time for the new Liberian people's revolution, true, is now. We can change our country. We can change our destiny. We can change our future. But the revolution must be true. We can't kill people for nepotism. Then we see the nepotism going on here and we act like we don't see it. No, that's not true. The punishment must fit the crime. If you punish my father in 1980 for nepotism, if Ella Johnson Sally practiced nepotism in 2006, she get punished. She get punished. Should she get killed too on the pool? That's for the people. Not my answer. My class is done. What's good for the gander is good for the goose, and vice versa. Hey, my people, we gotta take time in life. I see you tomorrow. I see you tomorrow. Oh, I see you tomorrow. 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 I see you tomorrow.